Hey guys, name's Carson Cooper from the mountain state of Colorado, and I'm just recording some of these videos with Mr. Worldwide Wesley to just share some of my elite gamer ball knowledge on setting up rifles, you know, for like competition, even just for practice, bladed setups, full hardware setups, like chrome, D-mills. And I'm just going to be diving into some of like the nitty-gritty bits of like how to get your rifle both competition ready, practice ready, and just ready for everyday use, you know, having fun, impressing your friends, and, you know, being blacksling like Mr. Woods right here. This is his stock, his hardware. It's original chrome Daisy hardware. The trigger guard is somewhere.
I have it's over there.
It's over there, wherever that is. Nobody really cares all too much. It was just a placeholder for the time being while we could get this stuff worked on. But this stock hasn't been sanded yet. It hasn't been deburred. As you can tell, I can, you know, get my fingernail on there. I can, you know, scratch my hand if I so feel like. And it's not as, you know, absorbent of sweat or like, I guess, grippy as it would be once it's sanded. So let's start to get into that. So the first thing we're going to do, take the hardware out. I've already got the rear screw out because we ball them like that. We're going to pop out the trigger guard, set that down someplace you hopefully won't lose it. Then we've got rifle, and we're going to start cutting the tape off of it. I'd like to start on the handguard. Just cut all that tape off first, and then I'll get down to the like the butt plate. If there's tape here, if there's tape here, then I'll get this tape first. But first thing I want to do is just separate the handguard and the stock. You know, get all that tape off there, like really assess like all the damage that has happened. I recommend against using the bottom D-mill. Like the bottom D-mill, what's it called?
Rear swivel? Like, I think it's called like a rear swivel string.
Yeah, rear swivel, whatever it's called. But I typically use the Daisy ones. They're a lot easier to clean up for like competition because, you know, it's one part and then your screws versus trying to like get all up in there on like a D-mill one, because you cannot take them apart. They're meant to stay the way they are until they break. And once they break, it's incredibly difficult to fix them. So, best piece of advice, even if you're going for like a full D-mill build, I'd probably still just rock the Daisy bottom swivel. Now we've got the sling on. You can see Mr. Worldwide, his cool little sling. You know, Sir Black or whatever. Nobody really even cares that much. He can't dunk. He'll never be on the Lakers.
Okay. I'm catching sprays for no. What's happening over here, dude?
Nothing good ever. Nothing good has ever happened.
He's running his pizza on me, bro. He's running his pizza on me.
For deburring, generally you only have like one chance to get it right. So I always like to warm up. Here's my deburring tool, by the way. We can put a link to it, like Lowe's or Best or like whatever, like Home Depot in like the description. But I like to warm up by, this is in shot, right? Mm-hmm. On the inside of the stock, because it doesn't matter if you deburr this, I like to just warm up
music licensing
and just get myself ready, see how the stock is going to feel, because every stock feels a little bit different, because all the stocks are made using like different colors, different mixtures, and so it's hard to get a read for all of them. So you do have to change up your strategy a little bit, and that's just something you got to feel out on the inside. The main thing that you're going to be wanting to go for with the deburring is I stick mine almost like I always like to start right here, so handguard pointed towards me, fat end this way, skinny end this way. I like to put it on my chest. Alright, so what I do is I get the deburring tool, I place it on like this side of the handguard, like the small side of the handguard, and I try and put it about like 90 degrees, because that'll take off a lot of material, but that'll also make it like that smoothness. Like, you really don't want to be forcing it in there, but you also want to put enough force into it that you're actually, you know, shaving off some of the stock like is intended. Alright, and so we're going to do that. I'm going to square it up 90, and I'm going to try and push into the stock a little bit, and then I'm just going to pull. And there we are. You know, as you can see, it messed it up just a little bit, but that's what sanding is for. This stock, also the pattern of your stock does affect it a little bit. So as you can see, this stock is very heavily rippled, and so it, like the ripples is each like a little bit of a change in texture. And then here we have like what is essentially a rough draft. It's still got edges right here. It's still got edges right here, here.
You gotta hold it a little bit.
And it's got some pretty good edges right here. We're gonna try and get rid of those. And so I bring back Mr. Tape Obliterator, because we don't want that drawn. And so I'm gonna slice it roughly a 45 on this edge, so that it connects directly with like the step down, and that'll get rid of that edge so that you can't, you know, scratch your finger along it. You can't like absolutely obliterate your calluses, because it will. And as you can see right here, is this in frame?
Yeah.
Hopefully. Doesn't hurt at all. I can apply as much force as I want to it.
How many times do you have to deburr it until it's like deburred?
You get one good swipe. If you're really going for gold, then you can go for two, but you're gonna have to sand the edge more, because it will start skipping. You know, as you can see, like right here, like that skipping, it'll start doing that if you do it more than once, no matter what stock you're using. Again, like that 45-degree angle. Alright, so you can also use this to deburr like a little bit more. Like if certain areas, like right here, generally doesn't get deburred too well, near like the fat part of the handguard. So you can use that to just go back at it a little bit. You don't want to try and dig in, just take off like a little bit of material, just like barely shaving your material off. And then you can go back with like a another 45-degree cut at the end, because like for two-hand and other tricks, generally like your thumb will go right here, and if like you miss, you don't want this like sharp corner to just rip your calluses open, and then you have however long to heal before your competition. So now that we've got this handguard finished, I can, you know, drag my hand along the edge. We're all good. Next it's time to move on to the actual stock, and it's basically the same process, except you've got two problem areas. But as you can see right here, this is going to be like a problem area because it's two dips. The deburring tool really struggles to, if you want to aim the stock towards you and, you know, get your deburring tool, square it up a little bit, make sure that it's going to get like a nice good dig into the stock. Apply moderate pressure, just enough to actually chip material away, and just pull it all the way through. And notice that like the more consistent your speed is, you know, not like speeding up, slowing down, the smoother your like cut will be, because you are cutting into the stock, and that'll help it also, you know, take more of the stock away because you've got that momentum going, and it's not trying to float up. And then you're going to do that about where the handguard stops, so right around here, that's where I go to, and then this part I'll get to in a second. But, you know, just drag it nice and long, shave off a good bit of that stock. As you can see, it's kind of messed up a little bit, so it's skipped around. Don't worry about that, we'll get that fixed up here in a second. And down here, I'll get to that here momentarily, but first I'm going to do this bottom part, alright? Or like the rest of the stock, because it's same thing, you know, rinse, repeat up until you are finished. Then you're going to want to grab razor blade, because that's going to help finish off the deburring. So you're going to grab that razor blade, you're going to take it at like a 90-degree angle to the stock, and you're going to apply, again, like that same mild pressure, and you're just going to drag it along the stock. Just take off, trying to take off like a little bit of material, that's just to make it look a little bit better. Drag that razor blade, you know, I don't do like the full 90 because that can end up making it like skip up and down, and then you get those ridges and it'll be real bad. But I do about like a 45-degree angle, sort of. You know, a lot of angles, you know, hashtag math class. That like 45-degree angle forward. That'll also exaggerate some of the like actual ingrained color on the stock. Like some of its design. Because as you can see, it's starting to reveal like some of that swirl right there, and as you can see, there's some right here. There's some like black inlaid up here throughout the stock, and that'll help release some of that color. It's really like rinse repeat. Once you get it like, once you really get it down on one part, you can do it like the rest of the stock. It's not, you know, something like super challenging where you've got to be like locked in the entire time. As you can tell, I'm talking, I'm listening to music, like anything but this I'm paying attention to right now. Okay. And I'm still able to get it done. That's 90% of what like working on your rifles is. As you can tell, sanding stocks is best done with your friends. It gives you some entertainment.
Is it though?
Absolutely. Well, I mean, in certain circumstances, if you're sanding a competition setup, I like to do it alone. Queue up some like video essays on YouTube, and just sit there and sort of, I don't want to call it spacing out, but just forgetting that the rest of the world exists, because that's exactly what happens. And then we're gonna move down here. As you can see, it's still got that like rough edge, really sharp, like that 90 degrees. That will cut your shit bad. And so you're going to do the same. I like to pull towards me for this part because I'm trying to take off like a lot of that material so that it can't possibly cut me. And as you can hear, it's skipping around a little bit. That's because the stock itself is like quite damaged along that edge. It's just from like Hell's Whips and stuff, and
A lot of it was just hitting the ground with whips, honestly. I spin on blacktop, which is not as good. So,
also, for your competition stocks, I don't care how cool and awesome and good you are. If you spin them on blacktop, that automatically makes you a subhuman.
Thank you, Carson.
For those who don't know, Carson works in the bean baby factory.
Yes, I put the beans in the babies.
200 times.
Huh?
200 times.
That's a lot of beans to shoot out.
Yeah, lots of beans.
Yeah, more specifically, you had to do it 200 times.
Is that like, do you like out of breath?
I really have no interest in carrying this conversation on.
Okay.
Alright, what's up? We're back. Tuberculosis master. Me on that grind. But as you can see, there's that seam from it coming out of the ejection mold, and this can really eat up your hands. Like right here, I've developed a really big callus from spinning with stocks without this like sanded down.
Are you sure?
And we're gonna get to that in like the sanding portion, but generally, I like to deal with this with my straight blade. You know, the same one that we use to like get these edges for the deburring.
Not next
I like to go
camera.
along it very slowly and just sort of shave it off. You're not trying to get it all off, but you are just trying to take a fair amount of that edge off so that you don't have to like sand so hard when you go back for it. And you know, it might get a little bit messed up here, like your stock might look a little bit worse like immediately after you've done it. But once you start sanding, then you should see all of that disappear. Like whether it be from you just being poor at cutting, or just like the stock having like ridges and then the blade skipping around. And yeah, but right now the biggest part is just trying to get like a pretty fair amount of that like line just like shaved off, so that you don't have to worry about it as much when you're in the sanding portion of like prepping your competition stock. This also helps make your stock look a little bit better because it looks more uniform. You don't have like that weird little ridge poking up, and you know, it's just, it makes your stuff look a lot nicer. And as you can see, I'm not, you know, doing it perfectly off rip, but I shaved off a fair amount of it, and once we get to sanding, then it should smooth all out and it should all end up pretty nice. I'm gonna go back to that handguard. I'm gonna get it finished up. You know, that same like 45-degree angle forward. You know, you're not really trying to take off material here, as you are just trying to clean up, so don't apply too much pressure.
What the fuck, dude? You're getting in the camera again.
Play these games with me right now.
Yeah, why? Did you not hear about his day at the factory?
Because I know Carson.
200
We actually call him.
patties.
I mean, he pretty much is Billy Badass, so we're back up. Hey, I'm sorry, sir. Sir, I'm sorry. Sir, I'm sorry.
So this next part, I have absolutely zero interest in doing. So I'm not gonna. It's sanding the inside of the rifle. So what I do is I grab a piece of 80 grit sandpaper. If you're using anything above 80, you're absolutely wasting your time. Because the entire goal for sanding like right here in the inside of the stock is just to take away as much material as possible. And if you're using anything higher than that, you're just doing absolutely nothing. And so I put the sandpaper, this is not 80, this is 320, so I'm not going to do it for obvious reasons that I just stated. But I grab the sandpaper like this, I sandwich it in my hand, and I put it in the stock, and then I just sand back and forth. Or, alternatively, if you don't want your hand to get super sore doing that, you can wrap it around a screwdriver.
That's actually really good.
This is the one that I personally do. I wrap it around a screwdriver, and then, you know, the sandpaper is not complying with me. But then you can get in there. The only problem with that is that you can only get so far. So, you know, you kind of take some, lose some. But the best thing is, I'd say, screwdriver method, and then just take your hand and just get in there. You want to take away as much material of the stock as you can, especially if you're spinning with the D-mill. Try and take away a lot of material, because the barrel being able to wiggle around is what gives you 90% of your noise. And the more room the barrel has to wiggle, the better your stock will sound. You can also achieve like a similar effect by just keeping like the same set of hardware in a stock for like ever. So, like Wesley's Chrome. If you were to just keep that in this stock forever, when he eventually switches over to Daisy, you know, like if you were to keep that like Chrome hardware in there for like 2 or 3 years, just only spinning with that Chrome hardware in here, just letting it get beat in, letting like the stock perfectly form to that Chrome hardware. If you put in regular Daisy hardware after that, it would feel like
Immaculate.
the blue restock back there, like the really light blue one with the white sling.
I don't know if they can see that, but
Well, it don't matter. I don't care. But that stock had that, actually it had this chrome hardware in it. Also, one thing is, you gotta make sure that you do it to the handguard too. If you only do it to the stock and not to the handguard, you're doing yourself a disservice. That's about it for the stock segment.
Dude, my work got you from the ground.
Sanding Andrew Kugai Cats already has like a video on it, and so I have zero interest in demonstrating that for you. That'll be unreleased Polo G for the next person. What's good? It's your boy Carson Cooper coming back in again from the mountain state of Colorado. Sunny as per usual. Dude, you keep fucking doing this shit. I'm gonna beat that.
Like interview footage type shit. What the hell? It's like an interview. Okay.
One thing. I gotta point this out. Unreleased Polo G canonically makes you a better driller. It is a proven fact. Listening to unreleased Polo G makes you better at drill.